back in the studios, my lovely people, on the microphone. Soy La Gama, and I am so excited because today we have our guest, Hayley Wheeler.
Hi Zyger.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. With the Macarena on the background, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna start this interview because Hayley has a lot of things to do. First of all, was it a long journey? Oh no, it was okay.
It was it's an hour. It's okay.
It wasn't that bad.
No, quiet on the roads.
Awesome. Hayley, a couple of days ago, I was reading your LinkedIn, and I was really amazed of hearing you talk about your personal experiences, right? And we're going to get to that bit in a minute. But for now, I want you to imagine like you are a third person. You're not Hayley at this moment. So you are looking at yourself from a third person point of view. How would you describe Hayley Wheeler?
Oh, that's a tough question. I think resilient.
Yeah.
I don't like the word strong because it suggests that when we're struggling, we're not strong. Mm-hmm. I'm going to use the word strong, happy, focused, and a mum.
A mama. Being a mom by default will make you strong. I know you said you didn't like that one, but there's no other choice. If you're a good mom, it will by default, it will make you strong.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of things that come with being a mum that we don't think about when we become parents.
And you know what's the most difficult bit? Nobody gives you an instruction book.
And every child is different.
Exactly. And you don't find the children are, IKEA. Anyways, not most of them, not the ones that I know, you know what I mean? But yeah, being a mom, it does brings you strength, and it's just you want it or not, it just build you up in certain ways, isn't it? So apart from being resilient, anything else that you can see from that third person towards Hayley?
I know a friend of mine used to say that she couldn't understand why I used to do what I do, because when I was really unwell, I would learn. So learning became my coping strategy.
Yeah.
So I have 4 children, I was in work all day, and then every night of the week I had some different topic I was learning. I was doing my teaching, counselling, coaching, and I was writing a book.
Busy.
Yes.
And then helping your daughter together, or your sons and daughter, I'm not sure how many, but yeah, to get the driving licenses.
Yes.
We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, 4 of them, trying to get them to drive.
Yeah, to be independent.
Yes.
It's not because people don't see it like, it is difficult to explain to someone who's not a parent how parenting is, but it's not just teaching them some skills. It's mostly like, I'm talking from my point of view. It's mostly like you want them to learn everything you know so that they can make either better decisions than the ones that you make, or they can bring to themselves some sense of autonomy. And, by them, they were going to feel like a bit more independent.
Yeah, definitely. It's about development, isn't it? It's ongoing development.
Yeah.
And you're right, you want to give them everything you've learned so they don't make the same mistakes as you.
Yeah.
However, they have to make their own.
They have to make their own and their own decisions as well, which is really funny. Anyways, Hayley, I just want to as well share with you a couple of questions. Do you know the post that you share with us on LinkedIn about your personal situation?
Yeah.
Is there something that you can share with us today?
Yeah, absolutely. In 2015, I found myself in the depths of depression, but I'd been struggling for about 5 years.
Yeah.
Just pretending I wasn't. Just getting up every day.
I know, I feel you. I feel you. Like we feel overpowered. We think that because we are moms, we don't need any help. So we stop asking for help or talking about the things that are on our mind. I feel you. I feel you.
I never did that at all anyway. So it was it was a natural progression really for me, because I had low self-esteem. So when the depression started, things just got worse, and you don't see the decline.
Yeah.
And then
You
in
don't see
2050, you can't see, you can't feel it, you don't understand it. And, and for me, I was a coach, so why was I struggling? What was wrong with me?
Yeah.
And I was getting up in the morning, I was bathing, I was getting myself ready, I was putting makeup on, doing my hair, all those things. And I can tell you, are not going to happen when you have depression. I did. I got the kids to school, I fed them, they were doing sports, they were doing all these things, and yet I was struggling and nobody knew.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a really dark and devastating thought that made me understand what I was going through, and made me make a decision between leaving my children or staying and fighting.
Yeah.
So it changed my life for the better. I needed to have that desperation to change my life.
What happened then? Because you were talking about your experiences make you feel that way, but what was your turning point? What happened to you that turned you around?
That morning, I had a really bad thought about one of my kids.
Right.
And I knew if I didn't sort myself out, I had to walk away. I had to leave them. Yeah. Because I couldn't risk that actually coming true. Yeah. So I fought. And for me, I was lucky. I always saw a light at the end of the tunnel. There was always something there.
There's always something.
That led me to believe that there was a way out, even though my main kind of thought was there was no way out. There was a little bit of hope. Yeah. And I just kept fighting, and I just kept wanting to learn about depression and anxiety. But at the time, I realised that my then 11-year-old son had been born with anxiety, and that's what made him so different to the others. So he became my motivation.
Right. And your way of learning, isn't it?
Well, I had to teach him. I had to understand what he was
teach him something that you didn't know.
Yes.
That's I
have a habit of doing that. I've done it with piano, I've done it with knitting. Yeah. So I did it with this as well. So we had this dialogue going on where I was trying to find out what was going on for him, so I could explain to him. Yeah. And when I started to explain what anxiety was, he didn't get it. I tried the NHS version, I tried the children's version, people say. And then, have you ever seen Wreck-It Ralph? Yeah. Penelope von Schweetz, the little girl. She was a glitch, and I said to him, you have a glitch in your system. That was a turning point for him, because then he understood why his anxiety didn't switch off. So whereas we would have a worry, but our system goes, oh, it's not too bad, I can deal with this. Yeah. His never did that.
No, anxious people wouldn't cope well with that.
No, so his glitch was just constantly switched on. So once he got that, it was kind of the starting point. And then I got him to the point where we had an incident with a sheep. It's a long story, but if you want to hear it, I can. We had an incident with a sheep which changed his life, because it was the last kind of time that he didn't fully understand his anxiety. That particular day, that sheep actually changed his life. And it was about a month or two after that was his last anxiety attack.
Oh, man.
So I got him, that's 7 years ago.
Yeah. So he learned how to cope with this anxiety.
He doesn't have anxiety anymore.
There we go. That's a great example of how to turn your experiences into gold, basically. And especially a great example of having a good mom that, regardless of you experiencing it as well, you decided to kind of put your issues aside, kind of forget about you, and kind of show your determination, your commitment as a mom, and teach him techniques of how to do it, despite the fact that he didn't know what was that. He wasn't getting it, is it? Right.
So he needed to understand. So he knew, obviously, that he wasn't operating like the others, because he would cry a lot. He was worried all the time. He was nervous going out. When he was 3, we would go into a children's play area, and he said to me, will people laugh at me? So those are the kinds of thoughts he was having. So he was really different. But that glitch story, everything fell into place for him. Yeah. But then teaching him how he operates inside. So learning about how he was thinking, how he was feeling, how he was behaving, how he was self-talking, all that stuff. Yeah. it cleared everything for him. And he went to comprehensive, he went to secondary school, and he cried on my shoulder for about 40 minutes. I was 200 year 7s around me.
Broken heart.
And that was his last anxiety attack.
Oh.
He hasn't had one since. And it's amazing. He doesn't remember it. That's the worst thing, because I will never forget it. Because at times it was really hard, because I was struggling anyway, so it was really hard.
Yeah.
But he doesn't remember it.
No, maybe he was too young. You know, when we are kids, we don't remember things, really.
Well,
it's like...
Yes, I maybe, but my daughter remembers a lot of the stuff. She's younger than him. She remembers a lot of this impact.
It's a son or a daughter, so here you should know the difference.
True.
Yeah, so there's a big difference between a kid, you know, that is a boy, and a kid that is a female. They just operate differently, but yeah.
She remembers everything.
I know, right? Girls, we are brought up differently. We grew up differently. Yeah. Hayley, I know that you are a businesswoman and you do something similar to what I do, which is well-being and coaching and helping people to overcome anxious thoughts. And I wonder whether that episode was the catalyzer or the episode experience that pushed you to kind of evaluate the possibility of becoming a coach.
Well, I was already a coach, so I trained in coaching, and I've done coaching for 30 years in one form or another. Prior to this job, I worked for Women's Aid, domestic violence charity.
Oh, right.
So I'd done various forms of coaching for children and adults for a long time, but it wasn't called coaching back then, it was called support. So I trained in coaching while I was in the early stages of understanding.
Yeah.
This was 2010 to 2012. I was learning constantly, 6-7 days a week.
Right.
And coaching was one of those things I was learning.
Yeah.
The hardest thing for me was understanding. I was a trained coach, I was a qualified coach, but I could not get to grips with what was going on in my head. I couldn't understand it.
No, because if you look at it, a hairdresser cannot do her own dress, is it?
Well, yes.
So if you're an artist, like, you can paint a lot of people, but you find difficult to paint yourself. So from that point of view, if you're a coach, you might be the most amazing coach. And you coach a lot of people, but from inside, things look different. And you cannot apply the things that you already think that they work for others, because you might be different from inside.
Yeah, well, I found it hard to understand because I knew what I should be doing. I knew how I should be feeling. I just couldn't.
Sometimes it's even better not to know a lot of things.
Yes.
Because you know that you should do something, and then you kind of procrastinate it. And you push it back because you know what to do, so you don't take it as that important to do because you already know it. Whereas if you wouldn't have known it, you would have been like researching on things on how to do or what to cope if you will be interested on getting out of that situation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was doing the research, but nothing. I suppose I didn't really understand what I was going through to begin with. I just knew I was stuck and my wheels were spinning constantly. So I wouldn't have said, I didn't say it was depression at the time. That was not a word I used.
Yeah.
I was just mad at myself. I was angry with myself because I couldn't move. I couldn't.
Right.
And yet I was helping other people to do it.
Yeah. Right.
So, there were people I was working with who were doing better than I was.
Yeah.
They didn't know. You slap a smile on, you go to work, you do your job, I'm good at what I do. They didn't know that they were doing better than I was.
Yeah. But then yet you were showing up and helping them. Because nobody knows the hero's situation. No. You know what I mean? You see the hero as somebody, and actually that's something that I'm going to be sharing later, but allow me to say nobody sees the hero's life as a troubled life. Nobody sees the trouble behind the hero, whereas the hero, is a hero because he knew how to deal with these troubles, but it's still probably some situations that will trouble their mind.
Yes.
Nobody in this earth has like their life completely 100% perfect. There's always something that we are falling for or trying to fix or trying to change. And that includes as well support workers. That includes as well coaching. That includes people who work in care homes and things like that. So yeah, that's something that we're gonna be sharing with you later. But for now, can you share with us a situation where you thought you were gonna lose it? And how do you cope with this? And what techniques or how do you manage yourself to turn the experience around so that you can use it today, to help others to become their best version?
So I developed a coaching model as a result of helping Harrison initially, which I use. So everything I do with my clients, I do with myself, because there's no good me telling them. At the time when I was out, I didn't, but there's no good me telling them to use these tools if I don't think they're any good for me. So I use the coaching model, and I just recognise all my internal patterns. I take note of how I'm feeling, how I'm thinking, how's my physical reaction to things.
Right.
And then I get to decide what I do with that. I get to decide how I behave in order to bring the right outcome about. That kind of control, and it's not even control, that level of self-awareness is necessary to be able to be in control of your life and to be able to control all the things that you need to pull into your life and create in your life.
Yeah, definitely. So a situation?
A particular situation?
If you can share it, doesn't need to.
Of business challenges get me. I've been stuck with a business challenge for a long time. Yeah. And I've used the coaching model, I've used everything to overcome it. But you know what I hadn't done? Was asked for help.
Right.
So I don't ask for help. I still don't ask for help. It's not an easy thing for me to do. I understand how effective asking for help is, but I'm quite stubborn still now. So I've asked for help and I've got it, and I'm able to overcome things. Yeah. So new learning. Not something I've done before.
Using somebody else's experiences, isn't it? When you help, is basically asking somebody for their brain, for their expertise, for their skills to kind of share and help, isn't it?
Yes, but I've never done it before.
That means either you're too proud,
I'll take that,
or you've been into so many management roles, or coordinator or leading roles in your background, that there's something that I feel myself, because I've been project manager before, and I find myself as well on the same situation. I feel like it's difficult for me to ask for help. But then there is always a point where you have to kind of realize yourself that asking for help isn't bad. It's just asking the right people on the right time, you know what I mean? But then I mix I don't know if it's like you, but I mix it all. It's like I don't like asking anyone for help. If I can do it, I'll do it. If I cannot do it, maybe I leave it for somebody else to do it, but I wouldn't ask. Does that make sense?
It does.
But it is because I found myself, because I want to be on control of what is happening. And because of that, there is a lack of me asking for help, which is a weakness as well.
Yes, absolutely a weakness.
Yeah.
And I recognise that. Doesn't make me ask for help any easier.
It doesn't make me turn around. Thank you.
No, I am learning a skill, and I'm constantly learning. I think that one of the biggest things that came out of depression, because I'm grateful for having had depression, was learning. Yeah. Learning all the time about me, and actually investing in learning about me. I've learned about my profession, I've learned about my children, but I've never sat down and learned about me until the depression.
Oh. How do you feel? Can we talk about that? Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. How do you feel when you were depressed?
Stuck. I lost all sense of passion and love and excitement. I couldn't feel any emotions at all. I was numb and overwhelmed at the same time. So I didn't feel anything underneath, but there would be things like anger and frustration and disappointment above all of that.
Yeah.
and just, I didn't want to be anywhere. I was not suicidal, but I didn't want to be anywhere because wherever I was responsible. Mum, wife, daughter. I had to do things for people. So what I did used to think was, if I could just have an accident, and I would be in hospital,
calling yourself,
nobody would want to bother me. Whereas now I can't say no. I would only sleep 2 to 4 hours a night, so I was exhausted. I was constantly going. So if I just maybe went to hospital, and this is the irrational thoughts, isn't it? Then maybe I'd just sleep. I'd feel better. I wouldn't have to be responsible. All these things that you think that you can, and there's no control in what you think. And that was kind of the worst point of just not being able to do. I just couldn't feel anything. I couldn't be myself.
Do you feel worthless?
Worthless, hopeless, powerless, completely helpless. Although I was still doing everything I'd been doing before and I do now.
But do you know that you were going through depression?
No, I wouldn't have labelled it as depression, no.
Right. So how do you realise that you were going through depression?
I don't even know when it happened. I think I just started to research all these things that were going on for me. And I could see the description of depression. It just resonated with everything I was feeling. But there are things that you don't, like my depression brought things like I lost my peripheral vision for 24 hours.
Oh my.
So people don't talk about that. My memory issues, off the charts. I couldn't remember words, numbers. Like I'd say to children, kick me the round thing. I couldn't remember the word ball, and I would falter in sentences. I developed a stutter.
Right.
So things we don't even think about or talk about when it comes to depression. But as I was putting sort of my symptoms together, it built the picture of depression.
Then what was the first step once you find out that you were going through depression? What was the first step that you take?
Helping my son first. That was the first thing. So get him sorted. Understand anxiety. I didn't even take him to medical or therapeutic help. And I don't know where this comes from. I knew it was my responsibility to help him. Responsibility. Responsibility.
Hello.
Yes, a trait. I just knew that I needed to help him, so I did. Helped him. Sort of I was learning about anxiety and depression with him. And it was a back and forth, and I could see the benefits with him. And then it was all about the emotional side. So we talk about mental health. We don't talk about. I'm learning that mental health, like depression, is a symptom, not the problem.
Definitely.
It's all the emotional roots that are the problem, but we don't talk
all the
about
accumulated situations that you don't talk through.
We don't talk about emotions. Whoever says to you, really, tell me how you feel.
Definitely.
Tell me all those emotions. People go, you okay? And we go, yeah. And then we walk.
How's your day? Oh, it's fine.
Fine.
How you feeling? Fine. No, we don't open up. That's true. So opening up to your son, to helping your son, was a way of starting your self-healing, is it?
Yes.
Then after that, what else do you do?
So for me, it was really all around self-development.
Self-development.
I needed to understand me. I needed
accountability of yourself.
Yes. But nobody teaches us about ourselves. We send kids to school, go and learn maths, English, history, geography, RE. And then we go to college and learn whatever your specialty is, go to university, and then go out and be happy. Go and build your life. Well, how do you build a life?
No accountability.
No accountability, no self-knowledge. So my motto is self-knowledge is a superpower. Because we say knowledge is power, we read from books, but the more you know about yourself, the more able you are to make the right decisions for you.
Definitely. And then that's another thing. That's an interesting point that you brought here, because we teach a lot of good skills, which is not bad, learning to read and write, developing your language skills, developing your number skills, which it does affect your brain. Actually, it does help you to develop and become a more successful, let's say, human being. But then there is other skills that are as important as language and numbers, which is self-love and self-appreciation, which is one skill that will definitely change your life if you happen to be going through depression, anxiety, and anxious thoughts. And this is not taken serious. This is not, it's like, it's something that nobody think, oh well, the main educators or the leaders don't think it's important to bring to schools.
But my argument would be we need to learn it in society, because I don't know if school is the right place for it. We need to apply it in school. From teachers, everybody else we need to apply it, but we need to learn that skill from birth. With parents,
definitely
with families,
with the family.
Yes. And I think it's, this thing about soft skills, right? Emotions are soft skills, mental health soft skill, well-being soft skill, self-love is soft skill. Hard-hitting soft skills when you've learned them. But yet we do not give them any validation.
There's no validation, there's no value at it. There's no an expression of quality. You know what I mean? It's considered, though it is a soft skill, it is also considered as something that's not of a high value. Or many people see it that way. But I am just so grateful to be alive in this timeline, because many more people are awakening on the fact that we need this type of soft skills, like you said, more in the society, more your family sharing them with you, or yourself finding them at school. Because what I was thinking is, and that's the reason why I mentioned school, society learn by what they taught at school. That's one of the ways. It's not the only way. But then as well, it's really important, the propaganda, the posts, the agenda, the news, to be kind of a voice for this type of things as well.
Well, my thing is, have you ever seen a genuine advert on TV that promotes these
good values?
Soft skills. And I don't like the word soft skills, because I think emotions are not a soft skill. I think they're a hard skill to learn. But when you learn them, they're amazing.
Maybe because they are not tangible, you can't touch them, and that's why they call it soft skills. But once you learn them on the hard way. Definitely.
But they're amazing though. This is the thing. We've there's a lot of division now, isn't there, where people are kind of, we're not connecting with other humans, we're connecting through technology, we're connecting through screens. But there's division in those screens, because I listened to stuff this morning and I've just thought, why are we dividing people? We're dividing men and women, we're dividing lots of different ways, but we've lost connection anyway.
Definitely,
Children are not maintaining eye contact, they're not having conversations with each other, rather through a screen. And we need to bring that back.
We need to.
We need to bring connection back.
And that's why we are here, Hayley.
Yes.